We start off in Rivers State, where the police have arrested 2 persons as part of ongoing investigation into the fire that affected a section of the Trans-Niger pipeline in the Bodo community in Gokana local government area. Reports say the incident occurred late last night near the Bodo-Boni Road, which is under construction. According to the police, security operatives cited the incident during a routine night patrol at the facility located at the border of Bo and Bodo communities. The police say the company initiated safety protocols, including shutting down the affected pipeline to contain the blaze and bring the situation under control. The Trans-Niger pipeline, which is a critical federal oil transport infrastructure, supplies crude to the Boni export terminal in Rivers State. From on this, country representatives of All Watch International, Kentebe Ibiarodo, joins me on the news at 1. Mr. Ibiarodo, what does this development mean for the environment and the people on one hand and the economy on the other?
Well, thank you for having me. Good afternoon. For me, I think it's a sad development that at this point in time in the history of our economy and also the importance of democracy and the needed fact that development needs to succeed, that people will still go to vandalize, the pipelines, and that causes a lot of harm to the environment. If you remember very well, high prep is already in that process, we have a situation where a pipeline is blown up. That means that the entire place needs to be attended to immediately, and it's a sorry state for the environment. It's a sorry state for the economy, because now definitely the amount of crude that must have passed there will now reduce. That will also reduce the daily quota that is set out for today, and that's it's something that is going to affect the economy. But looking beyond that, it's also time for Nigerians to start thinking beyond, beyond oil. It's a time for us to start thinking, what if there's no oil? What are we going to do? It's a time, this calls for critical thinking for the Nigerian politicians.
Yeah, critical thinking, but some will tell you that while it's still there, why not make the most of it? But how do we manage the situation? How do we ensure that there is no recurrence of these vandalizations?
Well, first and foremost, I think the oil companies need to be more proactive in terms of taking care of their facilities. When you say that the pipelines are in the communities and the communities will now be the ones to guide the pipelines, I think it is putting too much burden on the communities, because first and foremost, the communities are bearing the brunt of the environmental devastation, and to couple it up for them to now secure the pipeline, it looks like a lot of burden. There should be the oil companies and the federal government should channel out fashionable ways in ensuring that the pipelines vandalization are stopped. It also calls to the question of why vandalization? What is causing this vandalization? Are there questions that needs to be responded to? Are there underlying development issues that needs to be attended to? These are things that the federal government needs to look at while tackling, the issues around vandalism.
All right. And as it stands now, what would be your advice, really, to the people? Because you've mentioned that, the companies usually see the people as owners of these projects, and that they should actually keep an eye, on it.
Well, I think going forward, the most important thing is for how the place is clamped immediately, how an emergency cleanup should begin on that particular site, and so that the people there will stop inhaling the soot that came out from it, and also see how the spread of the crude does not leak to other, maybe neighboring creeks or farmlands that are there. I think that's the first thing that needs to be done before we're now going to full-blown investigation of what happened or what led to what. So the investigations are still going on, although people claim that it's sabotage, but we'd rather wait on the joint investigation visits and see the results rather than just try to draw conclusions of what happened. But in the meantime, I think it's evident that the company stops the leak and tries to curtail the oil from leaking further.
Country Representative, All Watch International, Kentebe Ibiarodo, thank you very much for your time on TVC News at 1.
Thank you for having me.
Attention, Excellent Rivers.